Hi, and welcome. This is my best tips for dealing with a narcissist as a co parent 26 things to consider doing or changing. Are you fighting with a narcissist, stressed out, overwhelmed, feeling defeated, struggling, tired, or worn down? Listen and watch my best tips for dealing with a narcissist as a co parent 26 things to consider. Hi, I'm Grace Wroldson, author of several books available on Amazon. I'm a mother, author, survivor, certified life coach who does support and strategy calls for other moms. And I'm a thriver. I like to share things that help. And if you are ready to learn, I am ready to teach. My first book is Co-Parenting with a Narcissist, 7 Self-Rules to Stay Sane, and boy, do we need our sanity. My second book is How to Fight a Narcissist in Family Court and Win, Super Smart Strategies for Success. My third book is Co-Parenting with a Sociopath, Survival and Sanity Guide. Encourage you to read these in order. And my newest book is How to Survive a Custody Battle When the Family Courts Force You to Co-Parent. These are all available at Amazon. Let's face it. Narcissists make terrible co-parents. Narcissists are manipulative and highly skilled at deception. We know this. When pushed, backed into a corner, or feeling threatened, they can even be nasty. They have many tricks, tactics, and traps to victimize and re-victimize moms with narcissistic abuse, even after separation. This means we have to acquire understanding, skills, and strategies. Plus, for ourselves, our children, and our custody case, we have to stay sane, all while dealing with the narcissist's insanity. This means we need plans in place. To help other moms endure this, I give moms hope to overcome it. I offer my tips, tools, and strategies in all my books and blogs specifically for mothers struggling to co-parent with a narcissist and suffering what I call co-parenting abuse, which is really a continuation of narcissistic abuse, often called post-separation abuse. The bottom line is that they can, often will, and do abuse us while we try to co-parent with them. However, we can change the dynamic with a narcissistic co-parent. I tell my story of how I learned, healed, changed, and grew, eventually using what I call skillful means. I was able to stop being the narcissist's target of blame, stand up to him with an effective attorney, and end the narcissist game because he no longer viewed me as his number one enemy or target. I outgrew many of the problems we had. My growth changed how we co-parented, which more resembled parallel parenting, with a dash of cooperation. I devised buffers and learned how to gray wall, which is a bit more involved than the popular gray rock method of being as boring as a gray rock on the ground, ignoring a narcissist and giving them nothing interesting about us to think about. I learned to detach and shield, which is from what I call boundary backlash. When setting dozens of new boundaries with the narcissist, I had to set using them with legal representation, which ultimately empowered me and protected my custody case. So keep listening for my 26 things to consider. Now my mission is to help fellow moms by educating them and telling my true story. I raise awareness, give some of my self-help solutions, and encourage them to get a system of support firmly in place. We can't just document everything and make ourselves so overwhelmed that we can't be good, present, protective, loving moms. Instead, we need to be strategic to not be overwhelmed. We can't just take on any lawyer for this family court issue, just as we can't hang on to a lawyer who's not effective and expect judges will rule in our favor and understand what's really happening. We can't just have a simple agreement or court order with a disordered, unruly narcissist. To prevent issues, we need a comprehensive one, because there will be plenty of problems with a narcissist. We can't expect normal behavior from an abnormal personality disordered person. If we are co-parenting with a narcissist, we can most likely expect a plethora of problems. So, learn lessons as you try to co-parent with a narcissist and endure a custody battle. What are you learning about your case? What are you learning about narcissists? I learned a lot over my decade-long high-conflict custody battle with a narcissist. I encourage you to learn things through reading and watching videos to avoid some of the mistakes that I made, especially mistakes in having expectations. I never imagined the narcissist would turn out to be as big of a problem as he was. Then, after using skillful means, I never imagined that I could get peaceful co-parenting after getting the support system, legal representation, and changing myself. I outgrew many of the problems that I had with the narcissist by learning from the experts in narcissism and my crisis support people who were experienced in dealing with abusers and narcissists. The narcissist also lost interest in abusing me when I used and learned the skills to neutralize his hatred of me. I have a little disclaimer. These are helpful tips based solely on the author's thoughts and opinions. These are just mine. I'm not a qualified mental health professional nor a crisis caseworker. I'm not a lawyer. I can't give legal advice or appropriate counsel. I'm not liable for any injury or harm in your case, so please follow your doctor's, therapist, counselor's, lawyer's advice, as well as your own good common sense and intuition based on your unique case to see if these tips could be helpful. This is only one mom's survival story, and these cases are complex and full of details and history that have to be taken into account. Not all the tips may apply to your circumstance. Here are my best tips for dealing with a narcissistic, problematic co-parent. These are general, and it's when you're forced to co-parent one. So keep in mind my disclaimer. Number 1, get support. I didn't survive this without serious and significant amounts of specific support. I had a DV counselor for setting, establishing, and maintaining boundaries, dealing with co-parenting abuse, and understanding coercive control, all while wrestling with my cognitive dissonance from the trauma bond and the narcissist gaslighting. I was called so many demeaning names by the narcissist and mother blamed for so many things that I was upset way too much of the time, which was his tactic, triggering me with false allegations and making me upset. I had to use many free 12-step programs like CODA, Codependence Anonymous, with meetings and sponsors to step into my strength and get some sanity. I even used several YouTube channels for a free education from the experts in narcissism. Read in my first book how I made a team of 10. It was a list for me to call so that I always had support available. You can read about that in my first book, Co-Parenting with a Narcissist, 7 Self-Rules to Stay Sane. Seek, find, and obtain specific supports for you to endure. Create a support structure for yourself that you can go to and lean on. The suggested types of support to establish, well, A would be venting support, only to a safe, trusted, confidential person like a qualified therapist, not to family and friends all the time. B, legal strategy support with a competent family law attorney, even a regular paid or a free phone consultation type of attorney. Look for free legal aid. C, protection, boundaries, and healing supports with a DV, domestic violence counselor, or a safe plan advocate, or a trained crisis worker. D, healing program and recovery support. In any 12-step recovery program like CODA, you will learn about yourself, fix weaknesses. You will learn and grow stronger. So you can see the back of my books for the programs that I recommend specifically for narcissistic abuse syndrome and healing from that. E, coaching support to get organized, to plan how to use a lawyer and how to document the narcissist. F, emotional support with recovery or program friends who have survived similar issues and can be there for the big emotions. G, educational support with experts on narcissism and narcissistic abuse to understand the dynamics at play. And H, financial support using a money coach or a budgeting person to find resources, even getting assistance programs for self-care and self-protection to help you make it through. Number 2, get a lawyer or legal consultations. Even free ones where you're asking your burning legal questions. We have to get our legal questions answered by lawyers. Start learning about strategy and being able to articulate what strategy you are currently using. You will need to have plans and make plans with support people backing you up emotionally to follow through. Do you have a documentation strategy? What does the lawyer say to document in your case? Do you have a legal recourse strategy? Do you have any strategies other than ignoring the narcissist or appeasing the narcissist? The truth is, we will need an offensive strategy in place, even if it's in place in our mind, not just a defensive strategy. Defending from all the attacks of a narcissist can get exhausting. Do you have a strategy to turn the narcissist's target of blame off of you? That's part of the skillful means I teach. If you're wise, you can prepare your legal questions ahead of time and maximize free consultations with top family law attorneys, getting your questions answered and legal advice, even if you can't afford a lawyer. You can interview 2 to 4 attorneys and explain your financial position, asking for pro bono work or to help you behind the scenes in phone calls. And then you could take out a loan and hire them right before the trial date. But paperwork can make or break a custody case. So I highly recommend you obtain solid, competent, available representation. You can use my Get the Right Lawyer guide in the link below. Number 3, be careful on social media or leave it. Be sure to safeguard your custody case by limiting social media use and protecting your information from narcissists. If they can read that they ruined your day and they got a reaction out of you, it can fuel them to do more. And it's not just narcissists, but their minions and flying monkey and people they've manipulated who can watch you and report back to the narcissist too. Many moms delete accounts or use created accounts to protect their anonymity in all things custody and children, including me. Don't air what's happening in comments either, since these are searchable when you become a member of any Facebook group, for example. Reading what your plans are in comments can give a narcissist an upper hand in how to hurt you or make it more of a hell. Guard your emotions, safeguard your custody case, be private, find those support people so you don't run to social media for crisis support. Having a DV counselor can help you vent and remain logical. We need to remain logical. Adopt self-rules is number 4. A good rule of thumb when co-parenting problems arise is don't engage the narcissist when he's abusive. That was my rule. You can see if that works for you. We can set up what I call self-rules, like I don't engage unless it's directly for the kids and I don't respond with emotion, only logic. We can remember that if not court-ordered, if not about the child, we do not have to respond to every message unless your court order says you have to, which I've seen a few of those. Sometimes it's best to give no reaction or emotion, just document he's off topic again and make a list with dates and details of non-child related messages to show a pattern of his misuse of a co-parenting app or texting or email. We don't have to plead our case with every interaction to a narcissist. If possible, if ordered, we can use only a parenting app, co-parenting app, that the courts generally assign, or the one you are ordered to use, and keep the conversation about the child only. If having to converse, we can keep conversations transactional and use the popular gray rock method or my gray walling method to be business-like and boring and make it as less personal to minimize interactions and conflict. Less is more in this case. When we aren't battling the disrespect and sincerity and angry attacks of the narcissist, we can thrive and be better moms to our children. So setting up some self-rules helps eliminate some of the stress. Move from reactionary to responsive. One of my rules is I save it for therapy. When he doesn't do something that it's truly awful and upsets me, I save it for my therapist and I vent to her. And sometimes I wait 3 days. That's my other self-rule. I found that it's completely normal to react to abnormal people and threats to our child. Number 5, start accumulating leverage and figuring out what matters to the narcissist. We all have our weak spots and things we don't want to lose. For the narcissist, it's his narcissistic supply. For us, it's usually our children and time with our child. Know what matters to the narcissist, list the leverage, or keep track of what you need to so your lawyer can use it in negotiations, hearings, four-ways, pre-trials, and trials. Number 6, carefully respond, not react, when co-parenting with a narcissist. It is wise to draft your replies and run them by your support people, therapist, strategy coach, or lawyer before sending them. Doing this extra step can help You be sure that you don't overshare, justify, explain, or defend, but rather state facts that are relevant. If your lawyer advises you to, it may be wise to refute any false allegations with a simple statement such as, "That's not true." I often had to take those 3 full days to reflect and cool off before replying to the narcissist's attacks, mother blaming, and nonsense. But if your court order says you need a 24-hour reply, follow your court order or your lawyer's recommendations. Each case is different and unique. Number 7, document strategically. What do you think is most important? Write those 5 things down. Having a documentation plan to show a pattern of behavior with numbered lists that have dates, times, and details, just the facts, screenshots. You can learn to label the tactics of the narcissist. When you can name it, it takes away its power to confuse and destabilize you. You can use my co-parenting list. It's my co-parenting abuse list to find the name of it. You can ask your lawyer what you need to document to show the courts and what will matter in your case. You can start to document behavior patterns and categories, not just every little thing that happens, to avoid being overwhelmed and to be able to sort out the confusing craziness. Plus, it puts the narcissist in a box, so to speak. Then move on with your day quickly. Be able to shift gears and avoid dead ends to your day that emotionally tank you. So if he's mother blaming again, just mother blaming and just list them all. Number 8, use a co-parenting app. If possible, get your court-ordered co-parenting communication off your personal phone and email and into an app that a third party can read the back and forth messages and monitor. This can help with the headaches and give you an advantage in court. Ask your lawyer if you can begin using this or get familiar with it and what one your judge or judges like to order. Then ask your lawyer if you can invite the other parent officially so you can start updating the calendar and putting in info. Sometimes being proactive and looking like we want to and are trying to better the co-parenting conditions can really show a judge that we are not the high conflict parent. I use it even if he doesn't, and it safeguards against PA, parental alienation claims that the narcissist likes to falsely accuse mothers of. Number 9, anticipate the narcissist's bad behavior and non-compliance with the court order. Don't expect him to do what a nice dad would do to help out. Be a few steps ahead with your planning to not rely on the narcissist to make it to work or to be on time. Be smart. Accept that he is a high conflict personality and will be difficult when he wants to be. Watch out for what you are relying on the narcissist for, because that can set us up to be late to work and appointments. We can plan around the narcissist. We can also document any contempt that the narcissist is in and bring these to our attorney who may want to file motions and hold the narcissist accountable. See my legal strategies blog. Number 10, remember that you're a good mom. Don't let any of the narcissist's criticism get to you. They may try to attack you, attack how you parent, but that's just one of their ways to get you emotional and into a reaction. Learn to pause, process, and then respond using legal guidance. Often, we keep our custody cases safe when we stop reacting emotionally. Having those support people installed in your situation can keep you from stewing and it festering in your mind. It can be very validating to have someone tell you that you're doing a good job in a very tough situation. We can give ourselves approval on a daily basis. We don't need the narcissist's approval. Number 11, remember the narcissist's behavior is only a reflection of their problem and weaknesses. Also, keep in mind that we are not responsible for them. We have to detach from their drama. Narcissism is a personality disorder, which means there will be disorder. They have a hard time being truthful and staying out of trouble. There are typically high conflict people who sabotage others and themselves in the process, but they can't see around corners, have many blind spots, and don't think long term. Even if they look like they're doing well, they aren't. This is another reason why we chose to leave. Let all their awful behavior remind you that the choice you made to end the relationship and break free was the right one. 12, get specific therapy. Find healing programs specific for narcissistic abuse. Try them, do them, prioritize your healing. Look for knowledgeable DV counselors who understand abusers and their tactics. Move from victim to victor. Move from survivor to smart thriver. Believe that your healing directly affects your child for the better, because I believe it does. 13, self-protect. For example, if the narcissist is abusive when in person, give no eye contact or respond. If you have to transfer the children in person, do all communication in writing. If they become abusive or erratic, record and document their behavior. We can practice self-preservation, and we can make a plan to deal with them. Learn how to start using neutralizing statements in my latest blog. 14, make boundaries. We need to establish boundaries, buffers, and firewalls for ourselves and our children against narcissistic abuse. It's not usually effective to tell a person who disrespects others to respect our boundaries. This would set us up for disappointment. Instead, we need to set boundaries with ourselves, what we will say, do, not do. This situation will call for many firmly set self-rules, boundaries, and legal stances. Number 15, don't believe a word the narcissist says. Always fact-check them. Narcissists lie. They tell half-truths. Narcissists twist facts and spin stories to lead people astray as a tactic. This means we often need to have zero expectations of them. We can be smart and always be ready to switch our plans, because if they're supposed to have our child for the day, week, or weekend, they may not. Not believing them because we know they are flawed and faulty and disordered helps us be more prepared if they're a no-show to their parenting time. Number 16, don't count on monetary help. Even if your child support is established, always be sure you can provide what your child needs and what you need for survival. Find and utilize assistance programs and let go of any pride you have. If the narcissist comes up with any money towards a child, then you can just use that towards the next thing your child needs. It's better to not rely on an unreliable person. It's not wise to depend on a narcissist's money or support because it is their supply, and they are selfish and unempathetic non-givers by nature. 17, stop any emotional outpouring or explanations. Feeding the narcissist our fear is dangerous. They'll just keep coming back. Sharing our weaknesses or problems can lead us into trouble, could be used against us later. They often will use this information. I give no intel, info, or details because it used to give him ammunition. Also, I learned to show no emotion around them. I don't react to the narcissist's drama because that is the fuel that drives him. We can starve them of our attention, as they can go elsewhere to stir up trouble. At first, when he was overly abusive in person, I didn't acknowledge him as a boundary for myself unless absolutely necessary. I learned to avoid further narcissistic abuse by keeping my answers very short and to the point. I learned to only answer things that belong to our child. I initiated self-awareness and self-discipline to let it go and get past things and not let things go past the short and simple. If necessary, if possible, you may want to get a court order of no contact using a capable attorney. Some abusers are just not able to control themselves. This is why we have jails. Number 18, get better planned, controlled communication. Learn skills. Learn my skillful means. If communication is constant and offensive, try implementing as little communication as possible. If you're frustrated with the narcissist, what he's doing, it might not be wise to attempt to make them co-parent. Often it's smarter to just respond okay to whatever the conversation is, but be sure you're not saying okay to something you're not okay with. Generally and often, there's no healthy, productive communication with them, no matter how simple you think the topic is. Watch my communication video and read my blogs on how I survived communication and communicating with a narcissist when I was his target of blame. And before I installed a competent lawyer who took an offensive approach to my custody battle and not just a defensive approach. Keep communication simple because they tend to thrive in complex nightmares of word battles, word salad, and circular conversations. Learn to label those tactics of the narcissist and find my list. Number 19, prioritize your child even if the narcissist doesn't. There will be a lot of unfairness and injustice dealing with an unfair person. So I created some guiding principles of putting our child's needs above my wants or fairness or want of fairness in the co-parenting situation. I always put our child first, even if it wasn't fair to me. I trust that one day she'll see those sacrifices I made because I love her more than I resented the narcissist. This is something he's too selfish to do. We can be the better parent, take the high road, and set a good example. We can also be the change we'd like to see and create peace. We don't have to wait for the narcissist to give us peace he doesn't have to give. Number 20. Learn how to ignore some things the narcissist does and doesn't do. Ignoring was a key coping skill that I needed to implement because I always wanted to take action, fix, save, and rescue. This made me hypervigilant, overreactive, and on guard. I was also in a heightened state of mental emergency that led to burnout and serious stress. So where it's smart to do so, learn to ignore. You can document instead of addressing things, but check with your lawyer if you're unsure what should be addressed. It may be wise to start ignoring anything the narcissist says, unless it's of the utmost importance for your child's welfare. Ignoring can help us regulate our emotions. Remember, don't let your emotions show to the narcissist. My DV counselor helped me to learn to compartmentalize my life so that I wasn't always battling the narcissist, but had a life outside of family court. We don't have to get sucked into the narcissist's high drama. Generally, we do not respond unless the question is asked about the child. If we have to respond, we can train ourselves to keep it short and polite. This is strategically setting some self-rules and self-boundaries. We work with our own weaknesses and set up some strengths. 21. Learn, get an education on narcissists and how to handle them. Knowledge is power. I read several books on boundaries and co-parenting with a narcissist. I watched hundreds of YouTube videos on dealing with a narcissist, and education helps. And we have the ability to learn, heal, change, and outgrow the problems of the past. This is us stepping into our competence and abilities. They unfortunately are typically doomed to repeat their toxic self with the next unsuspecting victim. Number 22, don't defend. It's not always a good idea to defend ourselves against their lies and accusations, no matter how outlandish they may be. It puts us on that defensive and our energy gets consumed. So rather, what I do is I document false allegations and keep track while simply saying that's not true. Learn about the broken record technique. It's a communication skill that drains them and keeps our energy. Defending is being part of a fight. Don't fight to get them to see the harm they do or the good mom that you are. Quite often they know, they just don't care, or they're pathologically jealous. Whenever you think they can't go lower, they very often will. So I don't underestimate the narcissist. And if being invited to a word fight, I don't participate in that shenanigan. We do not have to engage in debates. We don't have to take the bait if the narcissist is actively trying to lure us in and get the supply they want from us. We don't have to fall for it. We can become more aware. Number 23, develop a strong sense of self and keep it. When we know who we are less likely to be thrown off, manipulated, or upset about what the narcissist says about us. Our support people can help us establish this. We have to maintain ourselves in the event that the narcissist throws all kinds of stuff at us. Develop a strong sense of ourselves. Number 24, be consistent. Having things established that are regular and routine not only helps our children, but helps us stay organized. Find a way to keep this simple too. We can organize their disorder and then we get the upper hand. Number 25, don't have reasonable expectations for an unreasonable person. A conversation may not stay civil. They probably won't follow the court order to a T like we will. They probably won't pay child support regularly or pick the child up on time. They most likely won't stay child focused and think about the child's best interests, only theirs. So we can watch out for having expectations and don't expect anything. We can have a self-rule of not relying on them, the narcissist, for anything and not divulging any personal information to them. We don't have to take or bite any bait. And this tip can help us keep our emotions calm. Watch out for those expectations that can lead to more resentments. Number 26, live your life. We have earned our freedom and can grant ourselves happiness. We can ensure that our house, apartment, or living space reflects that. We can turn our focus onto our relationship with our child and away from the narcissist. We can show our children that we will always be in their corner and not continuously distracted and distraught by their dad. Those are my 26 best tips. We want to control the crazy communication with a narcissistic co-parent using self-control. It's no secret that for protective moms, we can lose sleep in custody battles when communication goes astray and we get dragged under by the narcissist. Some moms only have communication through that court-admissible app and block the narcissist on everything else. I chose to leave text messages open for emergencies. That was my choice. But many get a parenting plan that says use the app and try to keep it civil about the child. If you begin to complain about multiple bad messages from the narcissist, you may be able to show them in court, as the app doesn't let you delete these messages. Sometimes the app doesn't make anything easier, but it can help you when your day in court comes, because even third parties can log in and read the back and forth if assigned by the courts. Moms who catch on to the ongoing tug-of-war dynamic don't reactively engage, but rather proceed with indifference. Some moms set a self-rule of only responding if there's a question mark. They use only in-writing forms of communication like text, email for proof of conversations should the narcissist deny being informed. They don't. Moms choose not to talk on the phone or in person with narcissists. They keep the conversation very business-like and non-personal. After dealing with a narcissist, they have someone to vent to, someone they trust. They have that list of people. I call this book ending the dealings with a narcissist. Many times I had to prepare with someone like a narcissistic abuse coach and then deal with the aftermath and the boundary backlash with my domestic violence counselor in phone sessions that were on the front and the back end of dealing with an abusive, angry narcissist. It took the narcissist a while to adjust to the changed version of me, because I was no longer a pushover, a doormat, or a people pleaser. The solid legal representation helped empower me. Learn about narcissists so you don't have these high or unrealistic expectations. There are books and many free videos by expert psychologists. I recommend a few in the back of my books. Learn how to communicate with high conflict people who are everywhere in the world. Finally, please know that you're not alone. My mission is to help, support, loving, caring, motivated mothers who are forced to co-parent with a narcissist. We must maintain our sanity, save our custody cases, enjoy our children's one and only childhood. Through teaching my skillful means of navigating the narcissist, sharing my story, to validate what you might be experiencing, and writing down my effective tips, tools, and strategies that I use. You can find these in my books, videos, and blogs. I aim to offer you wisdom and the hope that we can improve a bad co-parenting situation and conditions. Even more so, we can come out smarter and stronger than before. We can become wiser and more aware, and not just go through this, but grow through this. Begin reading some of my helpful books for moms below. The links will be below. So take a look at some of the things that I offer. If you want some just short blogs on specific topics, come to my website under blogs for co-parenting with a narcissist. You can learn my skillful means. And you can see all of my different helpful blogs with videos. If you want to navigate this narcissist, or if you're in a custody battle, I'm a mom here to help other moms be smart, be prepared, be supported, and have hope. You can pick up any of these books available on Amazon. I write for moms who are forced to co-parent with narcissists and stuck in high conflict family court custody battles. If this is you, you do not have to feel so alone. My books can validate what you might be experiencing or have gone through and give creative ways to improve the co-parenting conditions. This is my newest book, and it talks about making plans and strategies. I include all my tips, tools, and strategies for moms to grab onto in my books. You see, there are healthy attitudes to adopt, mindsets to make solid, sanity to hold on to, as well as beneficial perspectives that we can take to help us endure this dilemma and survive. My custody battle went on, and I learned to navigate the narcissist. So you will see my Navigate the Narcissist co-parenting video course. The narcissist has those tricks, tactics, traps, and many more manipulations, and we have strategy, skills, and self-rules. If you have doubts on what to do in your case, it's better to ask a lawyer and start a list of questions for your lawyer. I have a Get the Right Lawyer guide in the link below to get you ready for those consultations. It's also in my last book included. The legal strategies that I used, there were 20. There's probably more. I had to switch often, be ready to switch, be knowledgeable about strategies like the chip away at it method or the delay tactics, because some of these strategies can get you so far, and then you have to pick up and adopt another strategy. Be able to articulate it and learn all you can, because knowledge is power. You can be prepared with my survivor wisdom, and my goal is to leave you with these tidbits of wisdom and lots of encouragement to know that you can endure and be resilient and believe in yourself. So I have this other video and blog, How to Communicate with a Narcissist, my 11 super helpful tips using skillful means. That's available on my website. I also have 5 factors that can make a narcissist stop if you're dealing with co-parenting with a narcissist and what I call co-parenting abuse. My link to my 11 video, Navigate the Narcissist Basics, will help you learn, heal, and grow through this to come out smarter and stronger than before. My newest blog is 25 key phrases that you can use to neutralize the narcissist when you're co-parenting or stuck in that high conflict custody battle. It only takes one high conflict parent to make a high conflict case. And we've got to watch to make sure we don't get lumped into that high conflict thing. So we don't want to be part of that conflict. We want to show ourselves as the more reasonable person. My lawyer always said that the more reasonable party will win. And I don't know that there's winning in the regular sense of winning with a narcissist, but you can learn, heal, grow through this, and come out stronger than before. So go enjoy your child's one and only childhood and keep your education and self-knowledge and wisdom rolling, because you will have to learn lots of things and you can make this a little bit better. Be sure to like and subscribe for my next helpful videos. Thank you for watching. You're welcome to join any of my private Facebook groups. Learn all you can. Together we are stronger. Thank you. This is Grace Wroldson.